In a desperate escape during a frigid apocalypse, some are driving heavy trucks, crashing through everything. Others are driving sports cars, flirting with beautiful women. But I chose a Wuling Hong Wong Mini because my Hong Wong Mini is a bit different. Like when stuck in traffic, I can send a pickup flying with a push on the gas, and then speed away at 400 yards, leaving sports cars in the dust. Everyone laughs at me, calling me a fool who will run out of energy halfway. However, they don't know that my Mini is actually an apocalypse-based vehicle. Not only can it change its format, well, it also possesses eternal power. At that moment, a reprimanding voice pulled me back from my rebirth joy. What are you daydreaming about? Are you regretting coming to this blind date? Because I'm pregnant. Looking at the woman before me, I was filled with rage. It was this blind date in my past life that led to a torrential downpour and flooding. Fortunately, I reacted quickly, helping this pregnant woman seize the last chance to leave the city and join the official team heading south. She even met the biological father of her child, a short, chubby black man. During the journey, a snowstorm scattered the group, and I found a sheltered cave. Out of kindness, I let the two of them take shelter inside, but unexpectedly they turned against me and teamed up to ambush me. I was talking to you, but without a response. The woman's tone grew more impatient. I took a deep breath. As much as I wanted to deal with this black woman myself, finding a vehicle to leave the city was my top priority. As for her, let her fend for herself. I was about to get up and leave, but before I could even lift myself, I heard her to chime in my mind. Apocalypse RV system binding successful. Please complete the initial task, and the system will determine the vehicle level based on task completion. I was overjoyed with a vehicle. I wouldn't have to waste time waiting for the official team to assemble. After leaving the city, I immediately forgot about leaving. Her gaze flickering, my mind raced, and I suddenly understood it was a crucial moment. This black woman had a unique way of thinking, but retained her last bit of reason. She knew about the child's existence, and that men often have their spies. They need reasons that can break down their inner defenses. I leaned in slightly, bringing my lips close to her ear, and each word I spoke felt like a gentle sword piercing her ear, striking her soul. I really like children, but if I were to be upset, the arrival of this baby would be the most beautiful redemption in my life. A violent tremor shook the black woman's body, and she could no longer control her emotions. Is it because of the child? No, it's because of her child. Finally, tears broke free as the black woman threw herself into my arms, crying freely. Only after some comfort did she stop crying, and I said, "Come home with me to meet my parents." At that moment, a notification sound echoed in my mind. Congratulations to the host for completing the task with an Ultra SSS rating, earning hidden rewards, a Guardian base vehicle, and a Doomsday base vehicle. This sounds way more impressive than an off-road vehicle. The system didn't elaborate on the base vehicle's functions, just leaving me the address right behind this cafe. In an instant, I pushed the black woman away from me, as if shing away, disgusting bug. She crashed into the wall in disbelief. Luckily, she hadn't stood too far away, or she would have fallen. What do you mean? With a sharp slap, I directly responded, and seeing the imprint on the black woman's face relieved the pent-up disgust. I swallowed. She hit me. She hit me. The black woman screamed hysterically, raising her hands as if to grab me. However, my tall stature and hateful gaze made her hesitate to approach. Instead, she turned to the onlookers, wiping her tears, looking pitiful, as if she'd been abandoned after domestic violence. Please help me. Are for the men who struggle the most to pursue women, to deal with the hardest ones to win over. I was losing face, and I still hadn't managed to impress her. Wait a minute. I immediately became a blur just as the black woman's hand touched the cafe door. I grabbed it with my broad palm. Before she could react, I pushed her against the wall in a classic wall slam pose. What do you want? Feeling my heavy, anxious breathing, the black woman's eyes flickered, her heart racing. Feel this, I said, not releasing her hand, but pressing it against my chest. In those few seconds when you turn away, this place felt empty. We just met, and it may be presumptuous, but I have to say I've definitely fallen for you. I lower my head, our faces drawing closer, close enough to feel each other's breath. What are you doing? Even if I'm beautiful, this is too much. The black woman struggled a bit, but didn't use much force. Instead, she pressed against my chest, saying, "There are so many people here, don't do that." I didn't care. I lifted her chin to make her look into my eyes, thinking that if I let her leave like this, I would never let it go this far. With such intense gazes in close proximity, the black woman felt light-headed, her thoughts muddled, and she struggled to speak. "Give me a chance to prove myself in my eyes. There's no oddity of a pregnant woman. She is my hope, my system, like an off-road vehicle for survival against future disasters." I took out my phone and in front of the black woman transferred 200,000, marking it as a gift. "This is my sincerity in pursuing you. It doesn't count as part of the bride price, but that's too much." The black woman looked embarrassed, yet her hands moved quickly to accept it. "Let's go house hunting tomorrow." Seeing her unable to suppress her smile, I felt reassured and decided to up the ante. What some intermediaries don't know is that I just won $8 million in the lottery. "I'll buy you a house here, fully paid, in just your name." While the black woman trembled slightly, her hand resting on her. "Given your circumstances, I'm willing to offer $688,000 as long as you agree to marry me. You won't need to return a dime. All the gifts are yours." The blind date was taken aback, realizing she had underestimated herself, feeling slightly regretful. "All right, since you're so sincere, let's do it your way." She thought for a moment and seemed a bit worried. "What about my child? After we get married, I will treat the child well, just like I would my own. The child can take your surname. I'll take the child's surname. I'm completely shameless now, so I'll just answer directly to wrap this up quickly. After we marry, you handle the finances. I'll do whatever you say. I won't interfere with your freedom. You can play until whenever you want. I'll take care of the child and do the housework. Don't worry, you'll be in charge of this home." The blind date's mouth fell open, searching for words, realizing all her lines had been stolen, leaving her speechless. "Okay," she said, her face slightly flushed under my intense gaze. She lowered her head. "I'll go home and discuss this with my parents." And without waiting for my response, she started to get up to leave. I quickly offered, "Let me see you off." "No need, my male best friend is waiting outside for me. We haven't confirmed our relationship yet. It wouldn't be good for him to see the mention of her male best friend." Stirred something in me, and I stopped pushing. I awkwardly replied, "Okay, let's stay in touch." Seeing the blind date getting up to leave, I quickly asked the system, "Did complete the task, where do I pick up the vehicle?" But the system's response struck me like a lightning bolt. "Warning, task is about to fail." Meanwhile, the blind date hadn't even left the cafe when she took out her phone and started messaging in her friend group. "Family who understands. I encountered a Phoenix man on this blind date who is after my beauty and trying to take advantage of me while I'm pregnant. Women, you have to protect yourselves out here." I suddenly felt my scalp tingle. Indeed, blind dates, and called out to the system, "Bring it on, no matter what the task is. I promise to complete it perfectly." The system responded quickly, "Initial task." When the heart of the black woman named Shingu, a deathly silence followed. "How about we change the task, system? Otherwise, I'll just run away naked for 3 blocks. Unfortunately, the system ignored me completely, so I forced a smile and looked at her. This woman had decent features beneath her heavy makeup. She was quite pleasing to the eye, but here she was pregnant and black. How could she be considered normal? Changing one's fate isn't easy. I apologize, saying, "You're just too beautiful." "You've left me dumbfounded." I wiped my hands dismissively. I thought about shedding my facade and tossing it in the trash for the sake of survival in the RV. I could let go of my pride. I suppressed my anger and forced a sincere smile. She seemed to have some discernment. The black woman let out a hum and smirked slightly. "The intermediary told me about your situation. No house, no car, just a handsome face." She glanced sideways at my abs and licked her lips, clearly appreciating my physique. But then she changed her tone, patting her belly. "If it weren't for my baby about to be born and needing a father, would I even consider dating you?" I forced a smile, my lips trembling slightly. "The audacity of seeking a decent man to take on your responsibilities was Astonishing. If it weren't for the system task, I would have loved to smash my coffee. Cup in her face, I held myself together and said, "You're right to go on a blind date with. Someone as beautiful as you is a blessing from my past life." Her attitude was quite proper, and the blind date finally smiled openly, but I still needed to clarify a few things. This is my first marriage, and I haven't had any children, so the bride price must be $388,000, not a penny less. Never had children. I thought, looking at her round belly. I had never seen someone so shameless. I kept reassuring myself it was all for the task. I think that's too little. Pregnant, this person said they would take responsibility, but suddenly went crazy and hit me as she spoke. Her hand wiped her tears and brushed through her hair, revealing the clear palong print on her face. The red mark made her small face look even more pitiful, making any man who looked at her feel soft. A few disgruntled spectators stood up with discontented murmurs. Truly, she's the kind to cling to black men, I sneered, and clapped, thinking, she's pregnant with a black child out here. Matchmaking, and starting with a bright price of $380,000. I scanned the cafe and asked, "Are you interested?" There was no one standing in the cafe, just countless eyes on the black woman. Mixed with whispers of disgrace, her already red face turned an even deeper shade, resembling that of a liver. Ignoring the commotion, I walked out the door, and just outside the cafe, my gaze was drawn to the steel giant across the street. No need for the system to explain. This was definitely his Doomsday base, and a crowd had gathered around the vehicle. Is this the prototype of Optimus Prime from the movies? It's so damn cool. Look, the cabin even has windows, and the storage space is several times bigger than my rental. It must be an RV. Wow, but the wealthy sure know how to play. the reinforced steel plates on top must be bulletproof. Wait, just 2 steps out, the black woman chased after me, running right in front of me with her arms outstretched to block my way. "How do you know about this child? You also said you'd give me $688,000 in bright price, plus a house in just my name. You can't back out. You must take responsibility." "I was just kidding. You're still dreaming. Don't block my view of the car." I waved my hand and pushed her aside, too lazy to waste my breath on someone so clearly not thinking straight. The black woman was pushed back like an arrow, staggering a few steps before almost falling. Once steadied, she followed my gaze and saw the imposing base vehicle. "What are you trying to do now? Steal the car?" "There's someone trying to